welcome everyone. Our lesson for today is about the past perfect. We use the past perfect to say that something happened before another thing happened in the past. She had published her first book by the time she was 16. Do you notice here? Had published. First, she published her book, then she turned 16. The formula of the past perfect is subject plus had plus the past participle of the verb. Example, Nora had chosen a recipe before she started cooking. Had chosen. And this is the subject, of course. The negative form is subject plus had not or hadn't plus the past participle of the verb. Example, the volcano hadn't erupted by the time we left. How to form a question? We start with had plus subject plus past participle and the complement and the rest of the question. For example, had the movie started before they bought a ticket? So here we started with had and then the subject, then the past participle. Adverbs. We often use the adverbs already. For example, I called his office, but he had already left. We have also the adverb still. It still hadn't rained at the beginning of October. Just. I went to visit her when she had just moved to Amman. Ever. It was the most beautiful photo I had ever seen. And we use also ever in questions. Had you ever visited London? Never. I had never met anyone from Iraq before I met Salma. Now let's move to the workbook, page 34, exercise C. Complete the sentences using the past perfect. Of course, you have the verb between brackets here, okay? And you will use the past perfect of the verb. The geyser had formed many centuries ago. So the verb is form and the past perfect is had formed. Number 2, no one in our class had heard of Yellowstone National Park. So we have the verb here and the past perfect is had heard. 3, the volcano hadn't erupted for many years. We have the verb erupt and the negative form. So hadn't erupted. 4, I hadn't seen a fossil until our teacher showed us one. So we have the verb see and we have the negative form. So the verb is hadn't seen. 5, after we had learned about magma, we started studying volcanoes. Had learned is the past participle of learn. 6, the geologist had found a very ancient type of fossil. Had found is the past participle of find. 7, after several weeks, the bad smell hadn't gone. Hadn't gone is the past participle of the verb go, of course, in the negative form. Number 8, by the time I got home, I had already done my homework. Had done. 9. By the time the rescue services arrived, the flooding had started. Had started. 10. I noticed that the ice had melted several hours before. Had melted. Let's go to exercise D on page 35. You have to match the question and answer. Write the letter. This is the question here. Had the boy learned about volcanoes? The answer is C. Yes, he had. He learned in his geography classes. Number 2. Had planes taken off and landed before the eruption? The answer is B. Yes, they had. They stopped because of the ash. 3. Had the eruption finished by the time the family got in the car? The answer is letter A. No, it had just started. Thank you for listening. See you soon.